It's 19:06 GMT. This is Focus in Africa from the BBC World Service. I'm Audrey Brown and welcome to the program. The U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Jeffrey Feltman, says calls for a ceasefire by the Tigrayan forces fighting the central government in Ethiopia should be seen as an opportunity to stop the war and start a political process towards restoring peace. Feltman was responding to an announcement by the Tigrayan forces 2 days ago that they were withdrawing their forces from Amara and Afar to give peace a chance. The move has so far been rebuffed by the authorities in Addis Ababa. Focus's Peter Okwoche spoke to Mr. Feltman a short while ago.
I think right now there is an opportunity for the warring parties in Ethiopia to pivot to a different direction. The government's position has been that the Tigrayan forces, known as the TDF or TPLF, need to withdraw from the neighboring states back into Tigray. That has now happened. We ourselves, the United States, demanded that the TPLF, the Tigrayans, move back into their home state of Tigray and not expand the war further. That's happened. So a primary demand of the Ethiopian government, a primary demand of ours, is now in place. There's a number of African leaders, international leaders, who have been pressing the parties to move now into a cessation of hostilities that would lead to a negotiated ceasefire and that could create the conditions for the type of inclusive, credible national dialogue that Prime Minister Abiy of Ethiopia has said he wants to have. You really can't do a credible, inclusive dialogue if you've got war going on. So we think that the Prime Minister's ambition for national dialogue, plus the fact that the Tigrayans are no longer in the neighboring states, creates the opportunity that we've all wanted to see for months, which is to move from a military battle into political negotiations.
You say that, Mr. Feltman, but I'm not sure if you're aware that on Tuesday, the spokesperson for the Ethiopian government came out and said that the Tigrayans can pull out of Amhara and Afar if they like, but they're not talking to them because they're not willing to talk to a terrorist organization. It doesn't sound as if they are interested in any diplomatic solution.
Well, there isn't a military solution. That's the thing. There are 6-7 million Tigrayans, and those 6 to 7 million Tigrayans may be a small percentage of the overall Ethiopian population, but they are in their homeland, and they're going to be united in defending what they would see as their home territory of the Tigray regional state. The cost of this conflict, in terms of the human cost, has been devastating, and not just to the Tigrayans, to the people of Amhara and Afar and elsewhere. The financial cost to the government has been tremendous. So we are urging the government and the Tigrayans, as well as their allies, to move now into a political process for the sake of Ethiopia's stability. Ethiopia, a country of over 110 million people, second most populous country in Africa, has tensions elsewhere. And the focus on the north, the focus on the conflict in the north, has created security vacuums elsewhere in the country, political grievances being left unaddressed. To preserve Ethiopia's stability, we are urging the government to move to end the war in the north, to be able to address the issues that could affect Ethiopia's stability elsewhere in the country as well.
Are you saying now that since the Tigrayans have moved back into what effectively is within their borders, that the ball is now in the court of the Ethiopian government? Are they now the ones who should be pushing for a ceasefire?
Well, look, I think you've probably seen the letter that the president of the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, sent to UN Secretary General Guterres a couple of days ago. He called for political talks at this point. We can't really test the sincerity of that because we don't really have the political talks going on. The African Union High Representative for the Horn of Africa, former Nigerian President Obasanjo, is scheduled to arrive in Addis today or tomorrow. That's an opportunity for the government to signal that, yes, they're willing to make the same kind of commitment to a peaceful process to resolve the differences between them, and then we can test the two sides' good faith by promoting some kind of political process. We have a written commitment to the Secretary General from the Tigrayan side, and we're looking for something from the government side that sort of matches that allows the African Union, Special Representative for the Horn, to move forward with some kind of negotiations to get to an agreed ceasefire.
That's the U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Jeffrey Feltman, and he was talking to Peter Okwoche.